Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Moving Toward Better podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bemis from movingtowardbetter.com, and I'm here to help you live your best life and let the rest go. Hello, my lovelies. Today, I'm talking to the moms of the world. Although everyone is welcome to listen because it might give you some insight into motherhood. So let me start by saying, I know this is a huge subject, and I have several podcasts outlined to talk with and to several types of moms. And if you have ideas for types of moms you'd like to hear more about, I'll put an email address in the show notes for you to send your ideas. But let's get started. So, dear moms of the world, the day I became a mom was the most life-changing day I've ever had. Before anyone sends me emails about being a wife first and a mother second, trust me, with 3 adult children, I understand that more than you know. So bear with me while I tell the story. My first son was born the day after a snowstorm. We drove to the hospital at 6 a.m. over a ridiculously snowy interstate, and I was terrified. I had plenty of time to get over that, though, because even with a Pitocin drip, our son took 23 hours to get there. I had no idea what I was doing, and the epidural had me so numb I couldn't even cough or push properly. So the nurse and my husband had to help me push the baby out. But when he came out, I was forever changed. He opened his eyes within seconds, and even the doctor remarked that he wasn't supposed to do that yet. And when he looked at me, as cliche as it sounds, I knew I was born to be his mother. The really cool thing about motherhood is that when you give birth yourself, whether you have a surrogate or adopt, so many moms report feeling exactly the same way. The most recent one I read about was when Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade had their baby girl together using a surrogate. I know it's not that way for everyone, but I know that it was that way for enough moms that it's a pretty common thing. You know, it wasn't until my son was born that I found out how different mothering is for everyone, and how difficult it can be for a new mom to sift through all the opinions out there. Breast or bottle, cloth or disposable, passy or no passy, or if you're in the UK, dummy or no dummy. Those are just the beginning. And sometimes it feels like no matter what decision you make, someone is going to judge you. And while some women are perfectly okay with that, others get really stressed and anxious about it all. But here's what I've come to learn after all these years of parenting and now grandparenting. People are going to judge you, no matter what decision you make. But here's the secret. When you surround yourself with people who support you in making decisions that work for you and your family, you'll find that it's a much easier way to go. That doesn't mean that you surround yourself with people who only agree with you and what you're doing, or do the same things as you, because it's always good to have a different point of view. But find those people who can do things differently and still be in your corner, like my friend Cindy. Cindy and I have known each other since junior high school, and let's just say that's a really long time. Other than going through school together, both marrying and divorcing our high school sweethearts, and both going to college, our paths diverged in a big way. Cindy chose to pursue a career while being a mom. I chose to do some part-time work, but being mostly a stay-at-home mom. Cindy traveled for business and was frequently away from her children. My children, minus a sleepover here and there, were with me most of the time. She went on couples weekends. My husband and I didn't. But there are some important lessons we both learned through being friends with one another. The first was not to judge other mothers. I learned this when my son was just a few months old. You see, I left my job and I never looked back. I loved being a stay-at-home mom and couldn't understand at that time why anyone would choose to do something different. I found out exactly why people chose differently when I spent an afternoon with Cindy and her 2 children. I do not remember why her children were home from school that day, but they were, and each of them had a friend over. Cindy was trying to make lunch, get them to the table, and she was getting frustrated because neither was going the way she had hoped. So I offered to take care of the kids while she got lunch. I went downstairs to their playroom. We started singing a cleanup song, and then we marched upstairs and we washed hands, and I got them seated at the table. And Cindy was just standing there looking at me, and I was like, "What?" And she said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Do what?" She's like, "How'd you get him to the table without a fight?" And I was like, "What?" I didn't get it. It felt like such a little thing to me. And here I'm sitting here thinking, you work with $1 million budgets and you sit in meetings with these high-powered people, and you think me getting kids to a table is amazing? It honestly, it made me laugh, but it was at that very moment that I realized that this was why my best friend worked, because working made her a better mom. Being home, finding creative ways to get kids to the table, that did nothing for her. It filled me up. It depleted her. She loved her kids and loves her children still very, very much. But that particular part of mothering was not fulfilling for her. And it was easy for me. So I got it. I got why she worked full time. She had to, because being a stay-at-home mom would have absolutely drained her dry. Working made her a better mom. And that was such a big revelation for me, and one that I've kept close to my heart ever since. Now, look, I understand that not everybody can make the choices that my friend and I did. Some women have to work for whatever reason. Some women have to stay home. There are single mom situations. There are situations where, mom and dad need to work together to make enough money to raise their family. I get all that. There are some women who end up having to stay home because they have a child who needs them to be there. If you have to do either of those, not by choice, my heart truly goes out to you. And I may be doing a Dear Mom podcast for you in the near future, because honestly, I think there are all kinds of amazing moms all over the world. And just because we do things differently doesn't mean we should judge one another. Honestly, I think it's even more reason that we need to support one another. And I understand that if your culture is different than mine, your view of motherhood may be different as well. But the same thing applies. We're all doing our best to be the best mom we know how to be. I think that's the bottom line. And yes, I understand not every mom is trying her best to be the best mom, or that's what people will tell you. But even if they're an addict, they're still doing their best. Nobody gets up and says, "I'm not going to do my best today. I'm going to do my worst." I don't think that really happens that often. Maybe I'm wrong. But here's the thing. We're all just out there in general, doing our best, trying to raise great kids, trying to be the best mom we can, and juggling that among a lot of other things. So here's what I think. Dear moms, wherever you are, I salute you. I wish you enough challenge in your parenting journey to make you appreciate the challenges of other types of moms. I wish you enough success as a mom that you can celebrate the successes of other mothers. I wish you and your children great health. And if that doesn't happen, I wish you a great medical care team to help you in that journey. I wish you enough financial, emotional, mental, and spiritual support that you get what you need. And if that's lacking, I hope it resolves itself soon. I fully understand that not every mom gets to live the life she dreams of. But until that happens, I hope that listening to these Dear Mom podcasts that I'll sprinkle among the others on the Moving Toward Better podcast show, that they'll help you Know that someone is out there thinking of you and wishing you every success and every joy that motherhood can bring. Sincerely, me. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe and join the Moving Toward Better podcast community. You can also join the Moving Toward Better email community by checking out the link in the show notes, and you'll get first access to all the new and fun things. Finally, as I said before, if you have some ideas for more Dear Mom podcasts, please send me an email at whatsup, WHATSUP, at movingtowardbetter.com. I would love to hear from you. Have a great day, everybody. Love you all. Bye-bye. At movingtowardbetter.com, it's our mission to help you live your best life and let the rest go. If you want to make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the podcast today, and then go to our website, movingtowardbetter.com, to sign up to be part of our email community. That way, you'll always have access to all the Moving Toward Better fun and shenanigans. As always, thanks for listening, thanks for being you, and have a great day. Love you all.